All right there, guys, and it is that time of year again. No, not Christmas. Not quite yet. About 3 1/4 months until Christmas is here. No, instead, it is time for my Premier League predictions. That's right, it's back for a fourth year in a row. We did it for the 17-18 season, we did it for the 18-19 season, we did it for the 19-20 season, and now we're doing it for the 2021 season. So it's this one, of course, is coming, instead of coming 1 year later than the previous one like normal, it's coming 1 year and 1 month later than the last one. That's of course because in March, Corona kind of killed football for 3 months until it came back in June, and then the Premier League resumed and then finished in July. But now, tomorrow is the opening day of the 2021 season. Well, it is for everyone apart from Villa, Burnley, United, and City, since United and City get an extra week off due to being in the Champions League quarterfinals and Europa League semi-finals. As they went further, they were the furthest English teams that went. Now then, without further ado, let us get into the predictions. So, the three teams not in this list due to being relegated are Bournemouth, Watford and Norwich. They are gone. The 3 teams who are in this list because they got promoted are Leeds, West Brom and Fulham. Speaking of West Brom and Fulham, finishing in 20th place will be West Bromwich Albion. That's right, West Brom will be finishing last. Why do I think that? Well, first of all, they got super lucky when it came to promotion because they only just got promoted. Like, if it wasn't for Brentford completely bottling it in their last 2 games, West Brom would not have automatically gotten promoted. But they played well enough to get themselves into that position in the first place. But the Premier League is not the same as the Championship. And West Brom really haven't improved their team that much. The 2 signings they've made this season are both loans turned into permanent signings. Although that Pereira guy looks very, very, very good for them. He looks better than United's Pereira, although that's not difficult. And they've just signed permanently a West Ham youngster, which West Ham are super annoyed about because they think this guy's really, really good, and they've let him go they've just let him go to West Brom. But in my opinion, the West Brom squad right now, the squad they have, looks worse than the squad they last got relegated with. They don't have like a great goal scorer like Rondon, which they did back then. I mean, Charlie Austin was really good when he was at QPR, but that was like 5 years ago. He's not the same striker anymore. He's not as good. His peak season was the 2014-15 season at QPR. That was Charlie Austin's peak season. He just doesn't have it. He just doesn't have that in him anymore. So yeah, West Brom, they're going back down. Finishing in 19th place will be Fulham. Yep, Fulham are becoming the new Premier League and Championship yo-yo team. 17-18 promoted, 18-19 relegated, 19-20 promoted, and I'm predicting 2021 relegated again. Fulham have been a little bit smarter with their transfer business this season compared to when they last got promoted, because when they last got promoted they spent 100 million and still got relegated because they were just like, oh, let's just buy all the loads of players, that'll keep us up. No, buying smartly, that could keep you up. But even then, Mitrovic is a very good striker, but we've seen that he can't truly cut it in the Premier League because he went from Newcastle, who were in the Premier League, back on loan to Fulham in the 17-18 season, back to the Championship. So Mitrovic is an incredible Championship striker. He's not quite as good in the Premier League. And that's just the truth. They've signed Reed from Southampton on permanent deal. They've gotten Mario Lemina on loan. Newcastle career mode watchers will know all about him. What a signing he was for me. But yeah, Fulham just haven't improved their squad anywhere close enough to stay up. And they're finishing in 19th. Now, do I put Leeds in 18th and just say, oh, all 3 promoted teams are going back down? No. Because in 18th place, I think will be Crystal Palace. That's right. After their first Premier League season of the last decade was in the 13-14 season, when they finally got promoted in the 12-13 season, they've been in the Premier League ever since. But this is where their Premier League journey, just like Bournemouth and Watford's 5-year journey last season came to an end, Palace's 8-year Premier League journey comes to an end this season, and they will be back in the Championship in the 21-22 season. Why is that? Well, here's what I'm basing it off. In the 18-19 season, Watford had a horrific end to the season, not winning any of their last 11 games. And then got battered 6-0 by Man City in the FA Cup final, didn't they? That form continued into last season. They then got battered again by City, even worse this time, losing 8-0 to them and being 5-0 down at half-time. Being 5-0 down after 20 minutes even. And that form continued. Nigel Pearson almost saved them, but then they just sacked him anyway after they lost to West Ham, and then they went and lost 4-0 to Man City at home and 3-2 to Arsenal at the Emirates and got relegated. And Crystal Palace Crystal Palace ended last season the same way Watford ended the season before that. They've had a horrendous end to the season. Ever since they came back from lockdown in June, they won one game, and that was the very first game post lockdown against Bournemouth. They didn't win, but they were terrible for the rest of it. They had awful form, and I just think it's going to continue this season. The signing of Eze from QPR, very good signing, but I don't think he's got enough, because he's been part of a mid-table Championship team in QPR. Is he going to have enough creativity to keep Crystal Palace in the Premier League this season? I don't think he does, because he's just not. He could be good for them, but they need more. They need more than just him, and they haven't signed him. Unfortunately, the transfer window does not end till October the 5th, so this season has become increasingly more difficult to predict, because any signings could happen that you never expected to happen between now and the end of the transfer window. But we always predict the season before it starts, because that's the right thing to do. You can't predict a season when you've already seen some games, because that's cheating. So there's my 3 relegated teams. West Brom 20th, Fulham 19th, Crystal Palace 18th. Okay, next, 17th. I'm going to predict for 17th the exact same team I predicted last season, and they finished there last season. Aston Villa. Yep, I'm predicting Aston Villa to, for a second season in a row, not get relegated. Why? Because Jack Grealish will not be leaving the club. Yep, Jack Grealish will be staying at Aston Villa, and he is a focal point. He is the vocal point of that team. He's the captain, he's the best player at the team, and that team is nothing without him. If John McGinn can stay fit as well, Villa have an incredibly better chance of staying up this season than they did last season, and they did stay up. Because Jack Grealish and John McGinn are the 2 best players at Aston Villa. And the signing of Matty Cash from Nottingham Forest at right back, that's massive, because he was the Championship right back. He was in the Championship team of the season last season at right back, so that's huge. Big blow for Nottingham Forest, massive improvement for Aston Villa. So he could help with defend. I don't know whether he's a good attacking or defensive fullback, probably attacking. If so, that's more creativity for Aston Villa to score more goals. That was their biggest problem last season. They weren't scoring enough goals. And that's why I think they'll finish just surviving by the skin of their teeth again. 16th place, I think, will be West Ham. Now, I know what you're thinking. Have you seen West Ham's fixture list at the start of the season? They'll be bottom of the league by the end of October. True, they do have to play Arsenal, Tottenham, City, United, Chelsea. They do have to play them all. I know that. But here's what I think will happen. When we get to the end of... maybe even before all those fixtures have happened, David Moyes will get sacked from West Ham, and they'll bring someone in like, I don't know, maybe they'll bring in Eddie Howe, or they'll reunite Sam Allardyce with West Ham, and one of those two will keep them up and get them up to 16th. Transfer business, they've not really done anything much. Keeping hold of Declan Rice is vital for them. If Declan Rice leaves West Ham, they could be heading down to the Championship. They need to keep hold of him. He's the best midfielder they've got. Or at least midfielder that does what he does. He's the best they've got. Selling that youngster to West Brom, apparently, I mean, I don't see that it's a massive deal, but if you support West Ham, you probably understand more about this guy and why losing him to West Brom is so bad for you. But yeah, the only signing they've really made is Thomas Souček from Slavia Prague, I think it was, who went on loan for the second half of the season there last season and scored a goal in the vital 3-2 win West Ham had against Chelsea. Yeah, that was something vital last season. Winning home and away against Chelsea. West Ham might need to try and do stuff like that again. They beat Man United at home. They might need to do that again. They almost got a point they almost got a draw at Anfield against Liverpool, the game before Liverpool's 3-0 smashing by Watford. So if West Ham are gonna need to pick up points more around them rather than off those bigger teams like they did last season. They need to beat teams more around them to stay up. Next, 15th, I've put Newcastle. I predicted Newcastle to get relegated last season, not making that mistake twice. They finished 13th last season, same place they finished the season before that. Now, I'm slightly regretting putting them Newcastle as low as I have because the signings of Callum Wilson, Ryan Fraser, Jeff Hendrick and Jamal Lewis are actually pretty decent. Jamal Lewis, they've now got an attacking fullback. Callum Wilson, Premier League proven at Bournemouth. Well, when they were in the Premier League, he's Premier League proven. He scores goals. He knows what. Ryan Fraser, decent winger, had an incredible 18-19 season. Yes, that wasn't last season, but he has shown he can be good in the Premier League. And Jeff Hendrick, decent midfield option from Burnley. But I wrote this list before Jamal Lewis, Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson signed for Newcastle. I wrote this list before any of those players signed. That's why I put them as low as I have. Kind of thinking I should have put them higher, but you can't change. If you change, it's cheating, so you can't change. Keep it as what it is. 14th place is the other Premier League new boys. It's Leeds United. I have never watched Leeds play in the Premier League, as they'd already gotten relegated to the Championship before I started watching football. But Marcelo Bielsa has been said to be the best manager in the world by Pep Guardiola himself. So, I mean, this is the season for Bielsa to prove it. If Leeds end up going down this season, it just shows even more of what a fraud Pep Guardiola is. Calling Marcelo Bielsa the best manager in the world, and he couldn't even keep Leeds in the Premier League. But I think he will. The signing of Rodrigo from Valencia, yes, he only scored 4 goals in La Liga last season, but he could be huge for Leeds this season. It means they don't have to rely as much on Patrick Bamford like they have been in the Championship. Leeds had the best squad in the Championship, and they've kept all that squad together. The signing of Helder Costa on a more permanent deal from Wolves, that's huge. And I think Leeds will definitely will have the fight in them to show, yeah, we are a Premier League team, and the past 16 years have put a massive downer on that. Have tried to put a massive downer on that title. We're showing that we are going to get rid of. We are going to show the past 16 years of suffering was all worth it for this. So Leeds will be finishing 14th, I think, and staying up quite easily. 13th place, you're probably a bit surprised about this one, Brighton. Brighton and Hove Albion, I think, will finish in 13th. Have I put them a little too high? Probably. But the signing of Adam Lallana is pretty good for them. Yes, Aaron Moy has unfortunately left Brighton, but Lallana is definitely better than Moy, so they've gotten rid of one centre midfielder and gotten in a much better one. The signing of Joel Veltman from Ajax, that is huge. Why is no one talking about that? Until Matthias de Ligt came into Ajax, Joel Veltman was one of Ajax's main centre-backs. That could be huge for Brighton. Give them weight, give them more stability in defence. Yes, they've given Shane Duffy has gone on loan to Celtic this season, but Lewis Dunk, Adam Webster, Joel Veltman, that's some three pretty decent centre-back options for Brighton. All Brighton need now is a striker a little bit better than Neil Maupay, and they could be in for a very good finish, like I've said, 13th. As Graham Potter was given no chance at Brighton when he came in last season, and he's done an incredible job. He gave them their highest points tally ever in the Premier League, their highest finish in the Premier League, and I think he'll do the same this season. Highest points tally, highest finish. In 12th place, I think, will be the team that shocked everyone last season, Sheffield United. Sheffield United were fighting for the Europa League and Champions League for most of last season. It's only after post-lockdown that they fell away from it. But what a season they had. I predicted them to finish 20th last season, and they finished 9th, top half of the table. Huge. But there will be a little bit of second season syndrome here. Not much, though. They're not going to have a horrific season. They're just going to finish slightly worse off than they did last season. I mean, they've lost Dean Henderson as he's returned from his loan back to Man United, and seems to not be going back to there for a third season. So they've signed Aaron Ramsdale from Bournemouth, who, well, conceded a lot of goals last season, which is why Bournemouth got relegated. But a part of that is down to the defence of Bournemouth, not just him. I think he'll be a good goalkeeper for them. And, yeah, slightly worse off than last season, but not too much. In 11th place, I'm putting Burnley. People call Burnley the modern-day Stoke. You know, they play really ugly football, but they just get the job done. They don't have a lot of quality, but they just get the job done. And get it done well. So yeah, nothing really changing. Burnley finishing one position worse off than last season, but not really any big trouble. Another decent season for them. Sean Dyche has done wonders at Burnley, and no one could do the job at that club that he has done. So Burnley 11th. 10th place. In 10th, I think 10th place will be who finished 11th last season. Southampton. Yep, I've just swapped Southampton and Burnley. I think Southampton will reach the top half of the table this season for the first time since the 16-17 season. It'll be since Southampton finished in the top half of the table. As the 17-18, 18-19 seasons, they've been battling relegation. 19-20, they were battling relegation the first half of the season, but the second half they just turned it on a new level. As I think Southampton will continue the form that they had in the second half of last season into this season. They'll just do wonders. I even said it back when they beat Man City 1-0 at St Mary's. I said it way before that. I said it months before. Southampton will beat Man City at St Mary's. Just watch. I said that months before. And look, That's exactly what happened. I just knew. So yeah, Southampton are going to have another very good season and finish themselves in 10th place, top half of the table. Ralph Hasenhüttl has done wonders at Southampton. How does a team go from losing 9-0 at home, being the record holders for the biggest Premier League home defeat ever, and turn the season around the way he did? I think he'll do wonders at the club again this season and finish in 10th. It's kind of a shame how Southampton finishing 10th is seen as a good thing now, when Claude Puel got sacked for finishing 8th and getting into a cup final with them just 4 seasons ago. But that's how it changes. Same way how Newcastle finishing 5th in the early 2000s got Bobby Robson sacked, but them finishing 5th under Alan Pardew is seen as an incredible achievement. See the difference? Okay, now into 9th. 9th place will be Leicester City. That's right. Leicester had an awful post-lockdown. They've had an awful 2020. Leicester's 2020 has been awful. They've been really bad. They even lost at home to Southampton, which was good revenge for Southampton. They lost 2-0 at home to Man United on the final day, which cost them top 4. They were 15 points clear of Man United when Bruno Fernandes signed, and Man United finished ahead of them. And Brendan Rodgers, he's a good manager, but trying to just go with great character, that's not going to help. You can't always rely on great character. You need to actually be good. Now, they sold Ben Chilwell to Chelsea for 50 million, and they got the Atalanta left back to replace him, so they've made sure they sell the player, definitely get a replacement in as fast as possible, and that's what they've done. He's the only person, that's the only signing they've made, and the biggest reason why they're going to finish a lot lower than last season is the Europa League. They're not going to be able to cope, their squad will not be able to cope with the Europa League Thursday, Sunday every week. The same way teams like United and Chelsea could cope with that because how big their squads are. So yeah, Leicester are going to finish still in the top half, but they're going to have a disappointing season and finishing 9th. 8th place. Okay, in 8th, I think, will be Wolves. They're going to finish one place worse off than they have the previous 2 seasons. Now, they've made some incredible signings. I've seen the signings they've made. They've made some really good signings. That Fabian Silva guy at striker, apparently he's really good, and the fact that Wolves have signed him is huge. They've got an incredible front line of Adama Traore, they've got Podence, they've got Jimenez, they've got and they've got Diogo Jota. They've got so many good players up front. Their midfield's pretty good, and their defence isn't bad either. But they did sell Matt Doherty to Tottenham. They need a good right. They don't have a very incredible right back now. They need to make a signing and get a good right back replacement. They wanted to sign Ainsley Maitland-Niles from Arsenal, but he doesn't want to go. So they're going to have to look elsewhere to sign a good right back. Maybe Max Aarons from Norwich, who knows? But yeah, Wolves are going to finish one place worse off. Despite having no Europa League this season, like they did last season, I still think they're just not going to have the ultimate consistency of finishing 7th again like they did last season and the one before. Okay, 7th place I think will be the Banter Club. Who's the Banter Club? Arsenal. Of course it's Arsenal who are the Banter Club. What were you expecting? But yeah, Arsenal are going to finish 7th. They're gonna fail to reach the top 6 for the 2nd season in a row. Arsenal didn't finish outside the top 6 any season under Arsene Wenger. Not the first season without him, they finished 6th. The second season without him, Wait, no. The first season without him, which was the 18-19 season, they finished 5th. The second season without him, they finished 8th. People saying that Arsene Wenger was the problem at Arsenal and he needed to go, yet since he's gone, they're even worse than they were with him. They've gotten worse. And Arsenal are only in the Europa League this season because they managed to win the FA Cup. Now, yes, they beat Man City in the FA Cup. They beat Chelsea in the FA Cup. They beat Man United in the league. They beat Liverpool in the league. They beat Liverpool in the Community Shield. But let's just calm it down. Results like that 2-1 loss to Brighton after lockdown and the 1-0 loss to Aston Villa, those are the results that are going to cost Arsenal the top 6 this season. Results like that are going to happen again. Now, they've signed some good centre backs, such as Gabriel, not the one that used to play for them, a different one. So they might concede less goals, which is going to be big for them. They've got one of the best strikers in the world, in my opinion, in Aubameyang still. I think he'll end up winning the Golden Boot. He came just one off Jamie Vardy last season. But yeah, Arsenal, I think they'll be able to challenge the bigger teams. But it's those smaller teams. It's away from home against those smaller teams that are going to be their biggest downfall. Just like it has been quite a long, and that's been one of their bigger downfalls, pretty much, for a long time now. Those smaller teams away from home. The Brightons, the Villas. It's for some reason against smaller teams like that, they end up always struggling. They always end up struggling, and it ends up doing badly for them. 6th place. Right, we're into the top 6. Surprise package in 6th place, I think, will be Everton. That's right. The team of the blue side of Liverpool, not the red. Carlo Ancelotti, he's a winner. He won the Premier League in his first ever season with Chelsea in the 09-10 season, beating Fergie's Man United. Only by a point, but he still did it. He's won the Champions League 3 times. He just knows how to win, and the signings of Alan, James Rodriguez and Abdoulaye Doucouré, oh my. That midfield is could be one of the best in the whole league now. And you guys will also know from the 4th season of the Newcastle Career Mode how much I like Abdoulaye Doucouré. What a signing he was in that series, and he's a huge signing for Everton. Of course, he got relegated with Watford, but he was their best midfielder. Now they don't really have an incredible midfielder, because Everton have him now. Alan from Napoli, of course, Ancelotti was at Napoli last season until he got sacked and then joined Everton. He's got an Alan from Napoli, makes sense. But the signing of James Rodriguez, I think people are forgetting about his 2014 World Cup. What a World Cup he had. Golden Boot winner in the World Cup, best goal scorer and the best goal of the World Cup. He could be lethal at Everton this season. He could be a massive player that ends up really shining, reviving his form that he had in his first few years at Real Madrid, winning Champions Leagues with them. So yeah, James Rodriguez signing for Everton, massive. They will make it into the top 6 and get Europa League football. That is my prediction. They still probably need a better goalkeeper than Jordan Pickford, because Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. But that's not going to happen. So yeah, Everton, surprise package, will finish 6th. Something they haven't done since the 13-14 season when Man United finished 7th. Okay, 5th place will be Spurs. I'm sorry, Jose, but Spurs just aren't the team they were under Maurizio Pochettino before last season. Spurs came in 6th last season. I think they'll do better this season and finish 5th. Maybe Jose will prioritise the League Cup or the FA Cup. He'll try and win a trophy. If Jose does win a trophy with Tottenham, even if it's just one of the cups, you can't call him a bad manager. Because he's won something at every single club he's been at. Inter Milan, Porto, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Man United. Even if he does it at Spurs, he's a winner. He may have been sacked from his last 3 Premier League jobs in Chelsea twice and Man United once, but I don't think Tottenham will get top 4 as they just don't have the team. I know Matt Doherty, that's an incredible signing at right back. Spurs have never really replaced. Spurs did replace Kyle Walker when he left for Man City with Kieran Trippier, but then last season Trippier left for Atletico Madrid, and Spurs really did not properly replace him. Serge Aurier is not that good of a right back. So signing Matt Doherty, that's an incredible signing, and finally Spurs have a good right back. Keeping Harry Kane, I mean, they always were going to, weren't they? That wasn't ever a worry. But Jan Vertonghen leaving after his contract ran out, that's a big blow because he's been one of Spurs' best centre-backs over the last 8 years. So who knows? Joe Hart signing. He's just there to sit on the bench. Let's be honest. Joe Hart is finished as a goalkeeper, and even though he played for Man City, I'm sad about that because he's been England's number 1 for years, and Pep Guardiola ruined him. After Joe Hart's arguably pretty awful performance at Euro 2016, especially against Iceland for England, Pep Guardiola essentially ended his career. Unfortunately. But yeah, Joe Hart is just going to sit on the Tottenham bench. For God's sake, Paulo Gazzaniga is definitely going to be ahead of him in the pecking order. But they're both going to be obviously under Hugo Lloris. But but the rumours of Spurs possibly signing Diego Costa, if that happens, that's massive. Because we know Diego Costa is an incredible striker. The 14-15 and 16-17 seasons, he was unbelievable. Scoring the most goals for Chelsea in a season as they won the Premier League both of those seasons. Massive. That Diego Costa could be massive. And Jose was the one that signed him to Chelsea in 2014. So Diego Costa and Jose have won the Premier League together. So that could be huge and possibly help Spurs go far in the Europa League if they actually qualify for it, since they've got qualifying rounds to play because of Arsenal's FA Cup win. Which is something they don't need, but that's what they've got. Right then, the top 4. Finishing in 4th place, I think, will be my team of Manchester United. Yep. 3rd last season, 4th this season. The signing of Donny van de Beek is good, but that's literally it. We've been talking about Jadon Sancho signing for United for probably a month. Probably a lot longer, actually. And he hasn't signed yet. How did they get Van der Beek done with almost no talk about it at all? There's been talk about Sancho for weeks, and it hasn't happened. If Sancho does not sign, that's a massive blow for United. But Van der Beek does add more squad depth to United, which is something they desperately need. That's United's biggest problem. They have one of the best 11s in the league, but when it comes to the bench, their bench is championship quality at best. That's the biggest problem United have. They don't have as much squad depth as the teams that finish above them and around them. So if United can sign Sancho, that's huge, and that is huge and could really will really benefit them. But the defence is still yet another problem. Where will Harry Maguire's head be after what happened to him in Greece? Will he be mentally ready for the season? Maybe the fact that United have their opening day fixture postponed and they don't play until next weekend could be helpful for him. But yeah, United probably need another centre back. There's talks about a left back, signing a new left back. Nah, Luke Shaw is so much better than so many of you say he is. If Luke Shaw didn't get injured for United, right? If Luke Shaw did not get injured, United would have finished on at least 70 points last season. Luke Shaw getting injured was massive, and Man United would have won the Europa League if Luke Shaw did not get injured. Luckily, United didn't need to win the Europa League to get into the Champions League. They'd already done that. But yeah, I think United will have a better season, but they'll finish one place lower. Why is that? Well, that's because in third place, I've put Chelsea. Chelsea have basically spent this summer transfer window playing FIFA career mode in real life, haven't they? I mean, Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, Sarr, Thiago Silva, Ben Chilwell. What a transfer window Chelsea have had. Honestly, the Premier League is killing Ajax right now because Ajax are just losing all their best players. Van der Beek to United, Veltman. I know Veltman's not one of their best players, but they're losing a good centre-back they had to Brighton. Ziyech to Chelsea. Timo Werner's a massive signing. And Chelsea, Thiago Silva, one of the most experienced defenders out there. But there's no way all of these, every single signing they have is going to do well. Ben Chilwell is good, and he is an improvement on Marcus Alonso. But you never know how good someone can be if they go to a bigger club. Frank Lampard definitely will have a better season with Chelsea this season after the signings. How the hell has he managed to make signings like this? But in the past, no other Chelsea manager has been able to make as many signings in the same window as good as this. But yeah, Lampard definitely will have a better season with Chelsea. They'll finish third. Champions League. Will they go far in the Champions League? Probably not, because the teams in the Champions League now are just too good. Especially Bayern Munich. Oh god. Bayern Munich are the best team in the world right now. No one can stop them. And that leads us on to the top two. In second place will be Manchester City. That's right, I am predicting Manchester City to not win the league again. Well, I predicted them to win the league last season, and they didn't. Embarrassingly, didn't finish nowhere near as close to Liverpool. Finishing only 1 point better off in terms of most Premier League points won by City. City's record is 19, and Liverpool's record there now is 18. And Liverpool finished 1 point worse off than the City Centurions from 2018. But yeah, I'm predicting Man City to fail to win the league for a second season in a row. They will not win it. Pep Guardiola will finally get exposed as Pep Fraudiola. Seriously, why do the pundits never call him out? They call out Jose. They call out Jose all the time. Yes, Jose's been sacked from jobs and Pep hasn't. But I think if Man City don't win either the Premier League or the Champions League, they can win one or the other. I don't think they need to win both. But if they don't win either this season, I think Pep might get sacked from City. I genuinely think City might get rid of him, because if he can't win them even he can't win them the Champions League, no one can do it. No one will be able to win the Champions League for Man City if he can't do it. The thing is, though, he's had 4 attempts and he hasn't come close once. He hasn't made it past the quarterfinals. David Moyes only had 1 season at Man United and he got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Pep Guardiola has had 4 seasons and not done any better in the Champions League. That's embarrassing. So yeah, Pep Guardiola is under more pressure this season than he ever has been in his whole managerial career. At Barcelona, he had the best club team of all time: prime Messi, prime Iniesta, prime Xavi, prime Puyol, prime Dani Alves, prime Busquets, prime everyone, prime David Villa, prime everyone. It's the best team, a club team, the world's ever seen. And only that team could beat Fergie's Man United in the Champions League twice. Only that team could manage it. And it did. At Bayern Munich, they were the reigning champions of Europe. At the time, they just won the Champions League against Dortmund. Pep comes in, does not manage to replicate it. Joins Man City, only gets knocked out in the round of 16 in the first leg, in his first season, and finishes 3rd in the league, over 10 points behind the winners, who were Chelsea. Finishing 15 points behind Chelsea, actually. Only 3 points better off there than he did against Liverpool last season. I mean, they've signed Nathan Ake from Bournemouth, but you're signing a defender from a team that just got relegated, which means they conceded a lot of goals. Don't see the logic in that one. They've signed Ferran Torres from Valencia. I don't know anything about him. We'll have to wait and see on that one. And Aguero's getting older, so he's going to get injured again. Leroy Sané has left for Bayern Munich, another big blow for City. Sané is easily one of the most underrated players City have ever had. He was so good. And the fact that they've just let him go to Bayern Munich. Bayern are going to be are pretty much unstoppable now. But yeah, Pep Guardiola and Manchester City will not win the league again this season. They won't. They will go They will go a second season in a row with no league title, and they definitely will not win the Champions League. They'll get knocked out in the quarterfinals for a 4th season in a row, not progressing past the not making it to the semi-finals 5 seasons in a row. Money can't buy you the Champions League. Exactly. And which means, unfortunately, coming first again, just like they did last season, I am predicting Liverpool to retain the Premier League title, to become just the 4th team to do that. The teams that have done that in the past are Man United, Chelsea, Man City, and no, that's it. Just 3 teams. They'll become the 4th team to do that. United, City, and Chelsea are the only teams to go back-to-back Premier League titles before. United have done it quite many times. City did it in the 17-18 and 18-19 seasons. Chelsea did it in 04-05 and then 05-06 under Jose. But yeah, Liverpool are going to win the league because they're just going to be the most consistent team in the league again, just like they were last season. They've only made 1 signing, and it's a backup left-back from Olympiacos. They really just don't need to improve their team. It's just so good. It's just so good, and Jurgen Klopp is officially the greatest Premier League manager Liverpool have ever had. It's just the fact. Yes, Rafa Benitez won the Champions League with them, but he didn't win the Premier League with them, although he did come close. But yeah, Jurgen Klopp is Liverpool's greatest ever Premier League manager. And it's probably going to stay that way for quite a while. I think he'll then retain the Premier League with Liverpool, and Liverpool will equal Man United's 20 English League titles record, which means the 21-22 season, it's on for Liverpool and United. Who's going to win the 21st league title, English League title? Oh dear. Although Liverpool embarrassingly got knocked out of the FA Cup by Chelsea and the Champions League by Atletico Madrid last season, will they have to sacrifice the Cups and the Champions League again to go super ultra consistent in the Premier League again? They might have to do that. But yeah, those are my predictions for the 2020-2021 Premier League season. I hope you guys have enjoyed this prediction video. Will I do one for the 21-22 season? Probably. But we'll have to wait until, well, as it stands, maybe August of 2021, and we'll go back to normal, but we'll have to wait and see for that one. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, follow me on all my social medias. You're probably wondering why this is on the main channel. Well, I said when in the my content is changing video, I said my channel is primarily anime, not exclusively. There's a difference. Primarily, so most of the content will be it, but not all. But yeah, until next time. Oh, and just before I go, 2 days ago, I uploaded a second channel video about bullying. That'll be linked in the description. Catch you later.